service coming to you from the Temple of Light, Center for Spiritual Living in Kingston, Jamaica. Today has been a lovely, quiet, subdued, rainy day, which we welcome, even though it's a little bit cold, plenty rain. What is good? It's all good. So let us begin, as we begin all things, with an affirmative prayer. Please join me. Right here and right now, in this perfect place, at this perfect time, we recognize that there is one power, one perfecting presence, which we call God. This is that power and presence which now directs this evening's service into right and perfect ways of unfoldment, so that everyone who participates hears what they need to hear and acts accordingly. We are the presence of God being manifest right here, right now, in this place, at this time. So I give thanks for this, and I give thanks for each person who has chosen to be a part of this evening's service, knowing that all is perfectly well because all is God in perfect expression. For this, I truly give thanks, and I release these words now into that infinite law that knows how to make it so and has already done so. And so it is. We will have just a couple moments of silence, just a couple. So I invite you to take a deep breath in. And as we breathe in, hold to that presence of God that fills our very being, that knows us as ourselves, as who we are, perfect, ongoing expressions of all that God is. Breathe it in. And allow it to settle in your heart as you settle into that knowing that right where you are, all of God is now fully present. We breathe in this presence, and we breathe out the love, the joy, the peace, the light, the wholeness that God is. We breathe this out, releasing it into our atmosphere. We breathe in again and allow the goodness that we know that God is to circulate throughout our body temple. Every cell, every tissue, the crown of our heads through to the soles of our feet, now recognize themselves as God. Breathe in one last time. Fill up on that God presence. As we slowly breathe out, we breathe out and release any tension from the day's activities. And know that we are fully present right here, right now, for this evening's service. So whenever you're ready, open your eyes, take a deep breath, and return to this moment of wholeness and goodness and love and joy, all that God is. Everybody back? I hope. Okay. My question for you this evening: who are you? without you? And that may sound like a silly question at first, but think for a minute. What could your answer be? Anyone can try and answer that right now. Do it in the chat because I'm not hearing. Who are you without you? Okay, I'll answer. The answer always begins with I am, doesn't it? And we're told I am is the name of God. Also, I want you to observe that everyone has this I am vibration, right? Therefore, it is not attached to anyone in particular. And therefore, it is very individual in its nature and in its expression. So I can't declare I am for you any more than you can declare I am for me. So therefore, it must be an awareness within each of us of that one power and presence, of that place within each of us that recognizes the real me and the real you. So who is the real you? Who is the who that is recognizing the real you? I think everyone here would agree that there is an intelligence, and that's big I intelligence, that thinks and acts through us, as us. And it basically uses our senses to communicate with us and with others, including other life forms. Our body then becomes the instrument of the senses. That's how we experience beingness. Don't you think so? We can touch, taste, see, hear, speak, feel the world around us. I would like to suggest that all life forms are aware of existence. You know, I'm currently reading a book, I think I've mentioned it before, called The Anatomy of a Rose, written by Sherman F. Russell. And it is just a fascinating exploration of the secret life of flowers, it's called. And there is so much that we take for granted about the plant and insect kingdoms, believing ourselves, arrogantly, to be at the pinnacle of intelligence. As an aside, you know, there's a pair of banana quits that are building a nest at my bedroom window. This is the second nest that they're building in a year. And it's the same pair. And the nest is right below the one that they built before. Now, I have watched them build this nest over the last 3 days. And it's fascinating to watch. And, you know, my family thinks I'm crazy for allowing them to build this nest at my bedroom window. But there is an intelligence that is guiding that process that cannot be denied. Where they've chosen to build it, how they build it. And in 3 days, this nest is complete. From the hard twigs that make the skeleton of the nest outside to the inside of it being lined with soft leaves and feathers and dust bunnies and anything else they can find to make it comfortable. And I think, no, that is intelligence at work. It's in the perfect location underneath my awning, attached to the grill of my window. So it's not going anywhere. Don't get rain, don't wet it, wind don't blow it off. And they're very sure that their babies are going to be safe. So, but back to being, who are we really? Who is the real McCoy? Honesty with ourselves is about self-awareness. And self-awareness is inextricably linked to our authenticity. And authenticity embraces our vulnerability. So our sense of you or me is in direct relationship to our sense of I, right? And I is our identification with God. If you go back to the Moses and the burning bush story in the Bible, right, when God was giving Moses all of these instructions of what he needed him to do, when Moses was objecting strenuously and saying, I can't even talk properly. What do you want me to say? How am I gonna lead these people? What do you want me to tell them? Who should I tell them sent me? And God said, tell them, I am sent you. Right? So I am is our identification with God. I am is pure beingness. That place within each of us where oneness exists. And that is the oneness that I'm speaking about, oneness of perfect unity in harmony. I remember the first science of mind class I did with Dr. Elma. And she asked the question, who are you? Well, everyone kind of scoffed at such a ridiculous question and reeled off the typical answers, which we all thought made us so bright. Teacher, wife, sister, mother, daughter, son, artist, husband, scientist, etc., etc. Until she reminded us, none of those said who we were. They only described the roles that we play. The true self that is our identity, is beyond objectification, is beyond what we do, right? Now, Tom Johnson, writing in his book, You Are Always Your Own Experience, on pages 102 to 103, he says, and I quote, you are always your own experience. I am the presence of God individualized. I am the image and likeness of God. There is a presence, a power, an immortal being that is the substance, the essence, the nature of my biggest self. It is myself. It is that which I really am. This presence of God is God. I choose to be aware of this self, this biggest self, that I really am. This self is already complete. I am this self in action here and now. This God self thinks only in terms of itself, of its perfection, completeness, and its abundance. I am God's infinite means to experience itself. End quote. So wherever and whenever you are living as this God self, anywhere you go, there you are. As the expression of the fullness, the beauty, the intelligence, the wholeness that God is. We would do well to remind ourselves often that wherever we are, in whatever we're doing, we are the presence of God revealing itself through us. And knowing this, act accordingly. God is. I am. Or we could say, God is I am. Jean-Paul Sartre, the philosopher, said, I think, therefore I am. Je pense, donc je suis. Which speaks to self-awareness. And as I said earlier, it is our senses that allow us to be aware. So another question I've been pondering, would or could I still be aware of I am, even without the senses being involved? I'm still pondering. What I do know for sure is that the goal is sure to be attained by all. That goal of returning to the one, the realization of our true self, that true self, which is God. Namaste. Okay, so are there any, are you still hearing me? I put the phone down. Are there any questions, any comments based on my little challenge? Okay, are you sure? Well, I would like some feedback.
Carol.
Who are you when you're not,
Question.
Who is this, Michael?
Yes, question.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think a full awareness of who you are would look like? That is a question I've been pondering since you started.
Okay.
Because we do know ourselves to a so limited, in a limited way.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think full awareness would look like?
Well, full awareness is the recognition of the I am consciousness, the I am presence. Yes. And right. That I am presence is certainly not limited. That I am presence is all embodies, embraces all the qualities that we know God to be. And even in the knowing of God, we are limiting God to what we know. Right? So, yeah, who we are is as unlimited as our idea of what that I am presence is. Like I said, I can't remember where I said it in the talk, but our identity is related to our awareness of I am.
Right.
Yeah, right. Our sense of ourselves is in direct relation to our sense of I am. So if whatever we consider God to be, mm-hmm. is our I am expression and experience, which is why in our treatment we begin with what God is.
I'm trying to make a connection between the popular sayings, I am that I am, and God is all there is. Mm-hmm. I have a feeling that if one can make the connection between those two, I am and God is all, it would sort of reach, not sure if it would be 100%, but it would reach towards that, let's use another phrase, unity consciousness, mm-hmm. that many say that's what we're striving for. Mm-hmm. Do we, because I've read of people achieving it for a limited time, do we, you think, feel at one with everything, that is to say, at one with God completely?
Well, I can't feel that for you any more than you can feel that for me. How we respond right. to the presence of God is an individual thing. So when you say I am, you follow that, whatever you think is your I am. I can't say I am for you and you can't say I am for me. But what we do know is that I am expresses what God is. But that expression is limited to your understanding of what God is.
Okay.
I'll
ponder that. I'll ponder that. Yeah. Thanks for that.
I wanted to add too that the I am presence is not limited by our understanding. Okay, it is limited to our understanding of it.
Of what God is. Yeah. Okay. Let me think on that for a few days. Maybe a few weeks. And
a few years.
Yeah. Who knows how long it will take, but I like that connection. Thanks.
You're welcome.
All right, Carol, Reverend John is saying, when we fully recognize our I amness, all sense of separation from God and all life will disappear. In the presence of I am, all discord ceases.
That's true too.
And it goes on to say, and disease and death will be no more.
True. And again, it goes back to when we can accept that ultimate oneness, then we are in that place of total awareness of our God being. That there isn't I don't think there's a place that we get to that we can say, yes, I'm there now. I get it. But I think what becomes necessary is an allowing, because this awareness is not something that you get through effort. This awareness is something that you allow by allowing yourself to almost melt into it, blend with it. It's not a process that you can say this is a definitive process of becoming one with the one. It is a process of becoming, simply. I don't know if I'm making any sense here.
But while we ruminate on that, there was a comment in the chat for you, Carol, from Reverend Michelle on the question, who are you without you? And she has, we are individually endowed with the I am vibration.
Entirely true too. The more I think about it, the clearer it becomes that the recognition and demonstration of the I am vibration comes through us, through our understanding. And I do believe everything that lives has this awareness. This I am vibration, which is interpreted and demonstrated in different ways. I also think that it is possible that once you name it as something, you have in that process limited it to what you have named it as. As you can see, that is something that is going on back here that I am still ruminating on. But it is a very individual.
Your audience
and knowing
started.
What's that?
Right.
I didn't hear
right.
that.
Nothing.
It's an individual. He was just commenting that your audio seemed to be back, but that's fine. We're hearing you, and you're hearing us.
Okay.
Which is good. You are right. It is an individual process, and each one of us determines what that I am is to us.
Mm-hmm. And something that I've also been thinking, when we say, who are you without you? Who exactly is recognizing who you are? If I can recognize you, then I obviously am not you. That makes sense? If I am looking at my phone, I am not the phone. Right?
Clear.
So if I can recognize you as you, then I am not you. I think
since we are each unique individuals, yes, and
Yes.
since we are each unique individuals created in the image likeness of God, then the I am that I am is God itself.
As you.
As you, individualized as me. Yes.
That's right. Yes.
Let me see if there are any requests in the chat for treatment. In the meantime, you can please put the request in the chat. Or you may open your mic.
I can see the chat now, but I'm not seeing it.
Right. But while you're waiting, can I have a affirmative prayer of gratitude to start off? Just giving
Okay.
thanks for all the blessings in my life.
Absolutely. Dawn, a treatment of health. Okay.
Right, Dawn, a treatment of health. Mhm.
Okay, we'll start off with gratitude.
Thank you.
Is this a question, Michael? Consciousness is what philosophers call the hard question. Is a jellyfish conscious? I like the element of joy that Reverend John introduced. Absolutely, a jellyfish is conscious. Why wouldn't a jellyfish be conscious? There is one consciousness that is expressing. There is one God that is expressing in all forms. The jellyfish is expressing too. Why wouldn't it be conscious? That is just my opinion. Okay. Let's do an affirmative prayer of gratitude. And yes, I see your request, Reverend Michelle. An affirmative prayer of gratitude. In this moment, we are so grateful. We are grateful for life. We are grateful for the awareness of being, the awareness that life is expressing perfectly, infinitely, joyously through each one of us. We are grateful that all the blessings that are available to us are being revealed to us right now. And the more grateful we are, we know that the more there is to be grateful for. So we open our minds, we open our hearts, we open our bank accounts, we open everything. Accept the pouring in and filling up of everything that we desire. And in this filling up, the overflow blesses and increases and blesses everyone who is touched by it. And so the gratitude increases exponentially. This is true for each person within the sound of my voice. This is true of each sentient being, of each living form. So we're grateful for rain, we're grateful for life, we're grateful for sun, we're grateful for air, we're grateful for sounds and sights and the ability to taste and touch and see. This is God expressing through us. So we allow ourselves now to be the vehicle through which God finds its perfect expression in us as us and is joyful. And through this joy, we are joyful because we are the way God works. We know this, we accept this, and we give thanks for this knowing as we now step forward to take our place at the front of the line. So we have our vessels turned up to receive. Fill it up, overflow, spill over so that we share effortlessly, generously, everything that we have. And we give thanks. We truly give thanks. And all this is already so. So it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Carol.
You're most welcome. And treatment of health for Dawn.
Netta also wanted health, requested by Reverend Michelle on his behalf.
Okay. This is an affirmative prayer of health for Dawn, for Netto, and for anyone else who is tuned into the idea of health. Health is wholeness, and wholeness is that oneness of being one with that one, the perfect being. we call God. So I know that this health now finds its perfect expression through Dawn, through Neto, through anyone else who is desiring an expression of health and wholeness. I know that we stand as beings representing and individualizing the presence of God. We stand in that infinite awareness of wholeness, so that every cell, every tissue, every function, every issue, every idea, every thought, every activity, everything that exists between the crown of our heads through to the soles of our feet are aware of this God presence and rejoice in this awareness. And so this knowing fuels that being of oneness, that being of knowingness, that aliveness, that vibrancy. There's a pep in our step, there's a lilt in our voice, there's a sparkle in our eyes, as we know for sure that right where we are, just as we are, God is perfectly expressed and continues to be expressed in us as us. We give thanks for this knowing, and accepting this knowing, we release all ideas of otherness and simply embrace that oneness that we know as God, in us, as us, through every idea, through every function of our physical, mental, emotional bodies. God is. I am God in expression. Therefore, all must be well. I give thanks for this knowing now as I release these words into that infinite law, giving thanks that all this is already so. So it is.
You have an affirmative prayer of love for Dawn and treatment of unity with all life for Reverend Michael, and treatment of clarity of mind for Shirley Shaw.
No, one at a time.
So now love for Dawn.
Okay. There was something earlier from Reverend Michael, or did I see that?
He wants unity with all life.
I saw something.
Consciousness of a jellyfish. That wasn't a treatment, that was a statement.
Oh, okay. I thought I saw something for NATO.
Yes, it was for health. It was for health and well-being. So that's why I asked you to include it with Dawn.
And it was for NATO, not for NATO.
Yes.
Okay.
That's okay. That's what I thought.
Okay, so treatment of love.
Mm-hmm.
This is an affirmative prayer of love for Dawn and for anyone else tuned into the idea of love. God is love, undeniable, all-embracing, self-loving, and giving. This love embraces all. This love recognizes all as God, as that lightness of being, as that compassionate, loving presence, as that fire in that soul that burns away every idea of otherness, every doubt, every fear, every calamitous idea that surfaces is immediately banished with the recognition that love at the center of our very being is that presence that heals all, that knows all, that brings all into perfect unity and perfect harmony. I know now for Dawn and for all who are expressions of God as love, recognizing this expression as who we all are. I know that this love finds its perfect place in the heart, in the soul, in the interaction, in the connection, in the connectivity with each other. The tenderness, the joyfulness, the peacefulness, the love that encircles and encompasses and embraces all activity, the love that gently guides us into pathways of peace and joy. We allow this love now to circulate freely in our consciousness and in our affairs, knowing that we are the way God loves. So we let God out into our atmosphere as love. We let this love permeate every facet of our being, so that everywhere we are, God as love is fully expressed, is fully understood, and is fully accepted. God as love is what creates unity, creates harmony, blesses all, uplifts all, embraces all. For this, we truly give thanks as I release these words into love, for love to have its way, to bring all to perfect. Everything. I give thanks that all this is now so. So it is.
So it is. Unity with all life. Reverend Michael.
Okay. This is an affirmative prayer of unity with all life. For Reverend Michael and for the world. There is one life. This life is God. This life is our life now. This life is life being fully expressed in, through, and as all living things, all life forms, all life force. This is God. I declare that there is no otherness that can fill any space in the consciousness, because there is no place that God is not. There is no circumstance that is not filled with the presence of God. So I know that unity and harmony are watchwords for God. And these now are expressing unimpeded through every circumstance, through every situation, through every encounter. Unity that is life itself. The harmony that binds all together in a perfect unity is God in expression. So I give thanks for recognizing the unity with all of life. This expression we bring to life. This allowance to allow life to be harmonious and unified is what we bring to this experience. We allow God to direct our thoughts, our actions, our words, so that the resulting experience for everyone involved, for every encounter, every situation, is one of perfect harmony and perfect unity. For this, I am truly giving thanks as I release these words now into that infinite law knowing that life itself is an expression of unity, a harmonious experience of God. I give thanks that this is now so. And so it is.
So it is. And the final request I see there is for clarity of mind from Shirley Shaw.
This is an affirmative prayer of clarity of mind for Shirley and for anyone else who's tuned in to clarity. God is that infinite intelligence that thinks through us as us. In this awareness, then, there is clarity of thought, which leads us to perfect understanding and right activity based on that perfect understanding. God is all there is. Everywhere we look, everything we see, every feeling that we experience, every activity in which we are involved is a way for God to be expressed. So accepting this then, we allow this perfect intelligence to guide our words, our thoughts, our activities, so that the end result needs no explanation. The clarity is inherent in the words, the thoughts, and the activities. Any idea of doubt or fear is now banished into nothingness, because we know and accept that God is that perfect intelligence that thinks and acts in us, through us, as us. We are intelligent because God is intelligence. Knowing this, then, we move forward with confidence, assurance, knowing that we cannot put a foot wrong, knowing that every activity in which we are involved is a perfect opportunity for clarity to be revealed. Through this clarity, all intentions are put right. All attention is rightly observed. And the results are wonderful, clarified, because God in the midst of it has brought it to light. I give thanks for this now as I release these words, recognizing the intelligence that God is now working to bring this clarity to fruition. Give thanks that all this is now so. So it is.
So it is. And you do have another treatment request. It's a treatment for a deeper recognition of God in all, through all, as all. Reverend John. It's a nice one to close on.
Yeah. This is an affirmative prayer of oneness, of a deeper recognition of God this God, this presence, this beingness that is in us, in us all, acting through us all, living as us all. This is the presence that is powerfully present in every thought, word, and deed, in every knowing that we know, in every idea that is expressed lovingly, in every joy that we allow. There is God at the center, God at the circumference, God everywhere, in, through, and as every experience. In this recognition of the allness of God, we know that every nook and cranny, every little crevice in our consciousness is filled, is imbued with this God presence. There is absolutely nowhere that God does not find expression. Just as light finds its way through even the tiniest aperture, God does not need permission to enter and fill a space, to enter and fill us up, because there is no separation. We are God in expression. We know this. We act from this knowing. We act on this knowing. And we open ourselves to this awareness of beingness. That God is the totality of our expression and our experience. Not as God and us, but God as us. We know, and we know that we know. We know this because we experience this at the deepest level of our beingness. God is. I am. God is I am. I am is who we are, expressing individually that powerful presence we know as God. For this, we can truly be thankful, open, and receptive, fearlessly, confidently, joyfully. We release these words into that infinite love, giving thanks, giving thanks, giving thanks that it is already so, has already been so, and will forever be so.
And so it is.
So it is.
That's it for treatment requests. Vance, you can share screen for me, please. For your reminders. Carol, you can start with the usual ones.
Okay. Remember,
Wednesday.
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings at 6 a.m. to join Reverend John for Quiet Moments in the Garden on Facebook. And Thursday,
Thursday,
this Thursday, we're having Lifeline with Reverend, I forget her name,
Reverend Little John.
Reverend Little John. This Thursday is our guest on Lifeline. But before we get to that, join Reverend Ann every day at noon for Noon Bites, a midday boost for the soul. Just enough little taste to get you through the day, the rest of the week till the next day. And that's also on Facebook. And prayer power for this week will be on 5 o'clock on Thursday, this Thursday, so that we can accommodate Lifeline at 6. And Zoom is also, the Zoom link is on the Facebook page, which is sent out. So join Reverend Senegal, moderator Sandra, and our guest, Reverend Little John, this Thursday at 6 o'clock, and learn how to make the rest of your life the best of your life. That should be fun. Don't forget Thursday morning at 11:30 a.m. to join Reverend Michelle for her You Were Born Rich book study session. It's 10 sessions. If you didn't start yet, I don't know if you can still join Reverend Michelle, but it's well worth the effort.
They can still join. They
Okay.
need to do all of the reading, however, before arriving, so they'd have to read up to chapter 3.
Okay. Heard that, everybody? You can still join. You got work to do, though. But it'll be worth it. And on Thursday evening, well, for this week, we won't be having any classes this week of the Ignite Your Life class, because many of the people who are going on the retreat are in this class. So preparations for going on the retreat, they decided to postpone this Thursday class. I believe Reverend Sonia and Steve will also be online in case anyone has any questions, though. And this is it, the big weekend that we've all been waiting for. Annual Masterclass Retreat with Dr. Dennis Merrick Jones, which will be held at Jewel Paradise Cove this weekend, October 27th to the 29th. For those of you who are registered, I hope you came to the meeting on Sunday and got the instructions. The bus leaves at 10 a.m., not a minute after.
10:30, Carol, 10:30.
Jennifer, be there at 10. If you're not on the bus when it is leaving, you get left. So this week's Sunday service again will be at 9 o'clock. Not sure who the speaker is. So this is Youth Sunday, this Sunday. So join the youth for their usual inspiring and innovative Sunday service. And that's it for the announcements. Who is on next week? I don't know.
It's another Tuesday. No, don't have that.
Okay, but it would be the first Tuesday
No,
of
it's not.
November.
Yeah.
It would be the first Tuesday of November.
Right, so it's a minister. No, you have the 31st.
No, I have the
as a Tuesday.
31st. Okay, so, all right.
It's another practitioner.
Well, join us again next week, Tuesday. It'll be a practitioner extraordinaire. So, Tuesday at 6 p.m. And if you feel moved to support the ministry, feel free to donate. Donate.templeoflightscsl.org. And you can get all the details there for how you can support our ministry. And we thank you for helping us to be a beacon of light for the world. If you are ready to give right now, getting ready to press that button, let us say the blessing. Lovingly I give, joyfully I receive. Be thou fruitful, increase, and multiply. Bless, prosper, and enrich everyone whom you touch, and replenish all of my financial affairs. Thank you, Father. And so it is. So it is. The prayer of our center, I'd like you to open your mics and let's say it all together, if you could. prayer of our center. The temple of light,
Love life,
center of the
spiritual
spiritual
living
is
is
a
a
sacred
sacred
field
field
embodying our
our
spiritual
spiritual community
from which the Christ,
peace,
peace, love, and joy
emanate to touch, to
heal,
heal,
to
to
bless,
bless,
to
to
prosper,
prosper,
and to liberate anyone who
anyone
comes
who
into
comes
contact
into
with it
contact with it
in any way.
way.
The light of the Christ illumines us, our center, and our
Our
environment.
environment,
Our
our
spiritual
spiritual
community
community
is
is
filled
filled
with and surrounded by the presence of God and is
and is
growing from
growing from
strength
strength
to
to
strength.
strength.
The power
Power
of
of
God
God
expands our
our
consciousness of
consciousness of
truth,
truth,
guiding
guide
us ceaselessly along the
along
paths of
the path of
wisdom,
wisdom,
spiritual
spiritual
growth,
growth,
unfoldment,
unfoldment,
and attainment.
attainment.
We
We
are
are
blessed, and to
to
God be
God
the honor and
the honor
glory
and
forever.
glory forever.
And so it is.
It is.
Amen. And now the prayer of Jamaica. The radiant light
Radiant
of
light
God's
of God's
love
love
is now
is
flowing
now
through
flowing
us
through
and
us and from us.
to everything
Everything
and everyone
and
it
everyone it
touches.
touches.
The eternal light of God's love now completely fills, covers, and surrounds our island Jamaica.
Jamaica.
The glowing intensity of the light of God's love now interpenetrates
Interpenetrates
and awakens in the
within
hearts and minds of our countrymen and women the truths of life which set free. The light of God's love is growing and growing in intensity in the hearts and minds of mankind everywhere. Love, health, harmony, goodwill, peace, uprightness, integrity, joy, prosperity, kindness, and our oneness under God are now established. And so it is. And with those words of unity and harmony and love and joy and peace and light, I give thanks. I give thanks for this evening's service. I give thanks for everyone who chose to tune in and to participate with an open mind and heart in this evening's activities. So as we go from this place to our several and separate destinations, I know that we go as God. We go with God. We go to God, in God, with each other, always and forever, bound together in one perfect unity, harmoniously and joyously. I give thanks for this and I release these words now, accepting their perfect fulfillment as I have spoken. So it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you very much.